Hi, my name is Crystal Nolen, and I am the Instructional Technology Facilitator at Lakeland Preparatory School in Lakeland School System in Western Tennessee. I would like to talk to you today about how Canva can do some of the heavy lifting for you all throughout the school year, but especially during the end of the school year. Canva is a fantastic tool that has so many purposes, and hopefully, you've learned quite a bit already about what Canva can do. And I hope what you see in this session today is something new or something that adds and enhances what you've already learned. But Canva is a tool that can do some of the groundwork for you and take some things off of your plate that are worrisome or can kind of make your to do list feel insurmountable right at the end of the school year. So, I'm going to walk you through a couple things that Canva can do for you to help you survive those last months. So, we're going to start with pre made templates that Canva has. One of the things that I noticed teachers struggling with is trying to think of review games and review templates for end of the year review sessions for testing or just for activities that are engaging to students during those last few weeks or last few months. So, the first thing or the first area where Canva can do some heavy lifting is by providing you with templates so that all you need to do is input your own information. So, the great thing about Canva is when you search, you can search specifically for what you want. Now, the end of the year contains a lot of events, and we like to advertise them on social media. So, how can we make that easier? Let's say, for example, you know that you're hosting an ice cream social or an ice cream award for your students. With that in mind, I'm going to search specifically on Canva for a template that would help me. And when I type that in, Canva presents so many different templates and options that are going to help me out so that I don't have to start from scratch and make these with nothing on the screen. All I have to do is fill in my information. Also, one thing that's great about Canva is underneath the education section, you're going to see that there's something called teaching resources. And within this section, you're going to find ready to teach lessons, presentations, worksheets, and tools. Canva is fantastic for already providing resources that you need. So, for example, let's say at the end of the year, I know that I want to do a review game. And I want it to be kind of Jeopardy themed, and I want the students to really enjoy and engage in that lesson. So I'm going to search Canva for Jeopardy. And what I see, I may have spelled it incorrectly. Um, what I see are all kinds of different templates. And even if they did not have exact Jeopardy, they have a lot of really cool templates that are trivia based that I could use for in the classroom. And let's say I wanted to use one. If I click on it, I can click customize this template. But what's also awesome is if you scroll down, they show you similar templates. So if you're really looking for a game, you can look and see if there's anything else that you might be just slightly more interested in when it comes to templates. But I like this one. So I'll click customize this template. And when I do that, I can see that everything's down here. I just fill in my information. So how great is it that you can have all of this background made for you, and all you have to do is put in your information. I remember when I was trying to make end of the year activities, I was struggling so much with trying to find pictures and images that would have the students engaged in watching this screen. And Canva does all of that for you. It does all of that heavy lifting for you so you can focus on the content as opposed to the content and the aesthetic. Now, another fantastic feature of Canva that I love that takes a lot of the heavy lifting off of me is the translation feature. A lot of times we want to make sure and ensure that our students' families are able to understand the communication that we send out, whether it be through social media, we're sending it to teachers, we're presenting it. We want to make sure that all of our students can be reached no matter what language they speak. But in the past, it's been really difficult to be able to translate everything in a simple way. What I have in front of you is a graphic that I made for our end of the year Chromebook collection. This goes out to parents through all of our different communication outlets, but I want to make sure that parents understand it. A fantastic feature of Canva is if you scroll over here, now I've used it quite a bit, but you can also search for it. It shows up on my toolbar right here, is the translate feature. We have several different languages spoken throughout our school. One thing that I love about Canva is if I click translate, now I have this graphic full of images and screenshots and graphics and text. So I can choose which page I want to translate, and I can choose from several different languages that it can translate to. So for this one, I'm going to translate to German. I can apply it to a certain page, and I only have one page in this graphic, so that's what I'm going to pick from. And it is as simple as clicking translate. And what Canva is going to do now is it's going to translate this for me. And you can see it right here on the screen. It's going to translate the entire graphic. Now, if I need to move some things around, I can, but I feel like that is so handy and so helpful, especially when you want to make sure all of your families are getting the same exact information and that they don't struggle with understanding it. And we want things to look nice. So with Canva creating graphics, some of the struggles in the past were always, well, how can I translate this? And we may have copied and pasted entire paragraphs into Google Translate and then back and forth. But this is as simple as 2 clicks to translate anything that you put in here. I've even copied and pasted some lesson plans or presentations that our teachers have made and have used the Canva translate option to translate the entire presentation so they can link it in our learning management system for students to be able to fully understand. So this is another way that Canva has features that can take some of that burden off of you, that you're trying to make sure that everybody can understand what you're sending out, but you also want it to be somewhat simple on your end. Let's think about the end of the year. What's something that happens that I spend a lot of time typing and looking? End of the year awards or any kind of awards, whether it be for a sports banquet or academic distinctions. And for the longest time, those have been so difficult to make because as an ITF, I make the awards for the entire school. So Canva, of course, has a feature that makes that so much easier. Now, whether you're a Google user or a Microsoft user, what really matters is that you can download your data as a CSV file. So let's walk through that together. End of the year awards do not have to be difficult anymore. So the first thing I'm going to do is find a certificate template on Canva that I like. And the great thing, don't forget, is you can personalize everything. So I'm just going to pick this first one. Now, when I click customize this template, I'm going to see that there are some preloaded pieces of information. Now, the important part comes in here where you have either a Google Sheet or an Excel document. I'll put a heading titled award, and I will put a heading titled student name. Now, these headings become very important later. So one thing that I did was I sent these out to the teachers and had them fill in the information. But here, what I did was I inserted a drop down. And the reason that I did this was because I gave them options for awards so that there wouldn't be any spelling errors and it made it easier on the teacher. So that when they click here, they can just pick the award and it made it easier. So they would type, we're going to delete this column. So we would type student name, and then it's as simple as just dragging this down. There we go. And I might say conduct, and then Crystal Nolen also gets the honor roll, but I would fill in the sheet with the information that I need. And so then I'm just going to download this as a CSV. Now, this seems like a lot of steps. I understand. But in the grand scheme of things, this is something that was made so much easier on teachers because they didn't have to worry about making the certificates or typing names and awards into certificates over and over again. In the past, we would use a Google slide. And so it makes it slightly easier, and it's a much more streamlined process than having to type and copy and paste and type and copy and paste. So now we've got all this. This is the first step. We're going to move back over to our certificate. So here, I know that I want to put the award name here. So I am going to type award. Now this is just so I don't forget. And then I know I want that student name to go here. And here is where the magic happens. I absolutely love this. So there is a feature called bulk create in Canva. It's on my toolbar, but again, you can search it in apps. What this does is it will bulk create the certificates. Now, what we did just now by downloading our CSV, that's where that comes in, or this process starts. We're going to upload data. Now, you can enter it manually, but uploading it is so much easier. So here it is. I downloaded it as a CSV. Now, here's what I need to do. I need to tell Canva where I want that information to go, which is why those headings were so important. So what I do is I right-click and I click Connect Data, and I tell it where it says award on the certificates, I want it to say the award. Now, I didn't name my column, so it's empty, so I'll pick that for now. And then I'll right-click here and Connect Data because that's where I want the student name to go. And here's where the magic happens. I'm going to click Continue, and I can see all of those right there. I can preview them. And once I click Generate Designs, it creates the awards for me. Can you imagine the time that you're going to save creating certificates at end of the year awards by doing this? My next step to print them to where they look really nice is I'll click Share, and I actually download these as a PDF print because I've learned that they print so much more clearly this way. But this tool right here has taken so much of the weight of the end of the year tasks off of me and off of teachers, and also off of coaches and clubs and sponsors. And this is also something you can use in your personal life too for any certificate creation that you're doing for any event. I love this. And we all know Canva saves time, but this is a really cool feature that's not only time saving and can ease some of your burden, it's also really fun. And that takes us back to Canva's AI features. And this one specifically is called Magic Media. I like Magic Media for end of the year activities and analyzing photos and editing photos that need to be edited. I use Canva a lot for editing photos or creating manuals. And it really makes it so much simpler to lay out processes. But I love this Magic Media. And here's kind of how we use it. So at the end of the year, we're always trying to find engaging activities for students to participate in. And one of the activities that I saw at a conference that seemed so fun and could just start some amazing discussion was that of generating a photograph and having students pick out and look at and analyze, compare and contrast what was wrong with that photo compared to now. So for example, I would open Magic Media. It is in apps. You can find it and search it in apps. And in Magic Media, you're basically describing what you want. So you can do images, graphics, and even videos. So there are several different ways that we can utilize this. Okay, so for example, and they have video. This is so cool. And it says right here, this is experimental. So of course, with any type of AI, we do understand that things might not look quite right. But if I go to images, for example, I can say create a scene during the 1920s. That's not at all right. That contains cell phone usage and modern elements. And so what I'm going to do is I can pick a style. For this one, I'm going to just keep no style because I don't really want it looking too filtery. I can change the aspect ratio, and then I'm going to generate the image. I may not like the ones that I get, but I have a choice to change them, which I'll show you here too. But I really find this a simple way to really incorporate some fun analytical conversations into class. So for example, oh, I really like this one. So if I click it, I can use it. I can display it on my projector and write a prompt that says, analyze this photo. This was taken during the 1920s. Please discuss what does not belong. If I like this particular picture, I can click my three dots and generate more like that or generate a video. So let's try to generate a video and see what happens. And the video would be great too. Might be slightly more attention grabbing, which would be so fun. These things excite me so much. But I have my profile picture currently made by using this feature. I described kind of myself, and I learned this from someone at a conference that works at Arlington that taught us about this, how you can describe kind of yourself and your appearance, and it'll generate you a Pixar style profile photo. And that's neat. And that could be great for any grade that you want to create kind of this visual of a class or something of that nature. And here's the video. So if you hover over it, you can kind of see they're just interacting and moving a little bit. So that is also a possibility. But this is an incredibly neat feature of Canva, the AI Magic Media feature. And you can go back, and this is, like I mentioned, how I kind of made my profile. So a blonde woman with glasses and a book and a cup of coffee. Now, I'm not being super detailed right now. The more detailed you are, of course, the better result you're going to get. I'm just kind of giving an overall view. But I like to do this one as kind of dreamy. Anime will also give you that Pixar look, so we'll watercolor. But I'm going to stick with dreamy, and I'm going to generate a profile picture for myself that can be used on my profile up there. You can see my little sunflower person up there. Oh, look, it looks just like me. I wish I had that natural glow. But Magic Media is so fun. And Canva has a lot of great AI features in their apps section. And this is where a lot of their tools that can really do some heavy lifting for you come from. So you can see that is where bulk create is if you aren't sure where to find that. There's also logos, and that's where Translate is. And so those are some of my most used apps that really help me out using Canva for productivity, but also some realistic classroom type tasks. Because a lot of times I think people have this image of Canva is just to make things pretty, which cannot be farther from the truth. Canva is very productive and it has very realistic uses for classrooms and life in general that aren't difficult to do. So don't discount Canva for those end of the year tasks that you need to do. That it can make it so much easier. I also really love their charts. So if you're looking at how to best incorporate data, their charts are very easy to use. For example, if you're needing to do some score comparison, or you need to just visually show something at the end of the year, like program usage, you can pick a chart. As you see, I went back to apps and there was the charts app, and I could pick from several different types of charts. But what's really great is when I click on the chart itself, I get the data table. Here I can upload a CSV again. So I can still upload something. So I can still upload something from Google Sheets or somewhere else that I have it, so I don't have to type it all in, but I can type it in. And as soon as I type it in, it will update it automatically. And I am just making a very visually appealing graph super simply. Another way that I love to use this is at the end of the year by doing presentations and kind of end of the year videos with lots of pictures in it. So recently I was approached with making a photo slideshow or video to show during a graduation reception. And I wanted it to look really nice. And I love using video editing software, but sometimes I don't have time to really focus on that. And again, here's where Canva can do some heavy lifting. So if you look up video. I didn't quite finish typing it, but if you look up video, there are lots of pre-made video templates where, again, you just input your photographs and your information, and it does all the work for you, and it looks beautiful. So we'll look up specifically graduation. The lights went out. Woo! This is automatic lights. Canva, if you're listening, maybe you can make an app to keep the automatic lights on. So if I hover over a video, I can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. But for example, if I click on this one and I choose to customize this template, what I can do is I can incorporate all of my pictures and all that I need, and it's going to immediately create that for me. Also, if I look at styles, this is where you can pull in various color palettes that you've created. So that takes off a lot of the burden of trying to match school colors exactly. You can create those, and your school can also place those in there. But those are some of the ways that I really love to use Canva to do some of my heavy lifting. There are so many more features and so many more ways that Canva can help you, but I really hoped to focus on just a handful today so that you could maybe say, I know I can use that. I know how I can use that. I can use that right now. But if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me through email anytime. I am more than happy to help or answer any questions that you have. And I hope you learn lots from this conference.